First up, we've got Sri Balakrishnan. What he loves most is not just technology, but having excellent conversations with real humans. So let's hope the rest of the panel doesn't let him down. Next, we've got Neha Dutt. She's currently interested in understanding how the world works, linking super systems like nationalism and capitalism to the day-to-day things we all do unconsciously and consciously. You know, easy stuff like that. Sophie Jensen, her son, shared 2 observations about her. 1, she's a right-footed striker, and 2, she makes good dinners. Alan from Australia. Alan is a man who's got more colourful shirts than you've had hot dinners, but you probably know him as the expert on slack socks. Hey, let's not forget Ryan. Ryan once told me of his shock and horror on his first day in the UK when he discovered that his hotel bathroom was fully carpeted. Last but not least, let's welcome back Thomas, the CEO and co-founder. You may not know this, given that he's hidden his accent so well, but he's actually French. And when he was much younger, he completed his French National Service by, and this is very true, marketing and promoting French wine to the people of New York for a year. What an incredible sacrifice.
There's been a lot of negative press, you could say, around private equity firms, what they've done to the UK, you know, what they're doing in the world. And it's definitely on the mind of some of our customers. So one of our customers has asked the question, how could the creation of a trust actually help our customers when it comes to, in comparison to being sold to a PE firm, for example? And that's something that's definitely come up in some of the town halls, for example, where, Thomas, you've mentioned explicitly that wasn't really a direction that we wanted to go in. So how is this actually going to benefit our customers that we're not actually going down that road?
Yeah, I can take this. So let's just step back, right? There are many ways to grow the company, many ways to grow the value creation chain in any company, right? And I've personally witnessed companies which are VC funded, which are private equity funded. And they generally are, if it is VC, I mean, again, no disrespect to any VC, it's like 18-month cycle, 24-month cycle, 2 years, 3 years. If it is a private equity, it's 5 to 7 years, right? You can't think beyond that, right? Even just to say we are here for life is like a great commitment, right? And when Thomas first talked to me about it, I'm like, this is radical, right? You can't, I've not seen such a powerful ability to think beyond your lifetime. We're reversing the pyramid and saying the core value is how do we create value for the network, employee, customers before, and then of course profit comes along with it, like Thomas just said about let's also be commercially minded, right? So that's a very well balanced and a fantastic long way thinking.
We haven't talked about this, but I'm hoping that we're going to be very open. I don't know what will happen with the formalities of the openness, but I think at a personal level, I think we're going to go, well, not personal, but as a trust, we're going to go through a journey. And I think what we should do is document that journey and share with you when we're meeting, what we're talking about, what is on the agenda, what is on our minds, and what are we learning along the way.
Are there any guardrails, anything that's kind of, you've at least floated by or you've spoken about so far?
I think there is a deed of trust where we say that the trust is only together for the next 2 years, right? And there is a change of trust after that. Again, it's version 1, so the guiding principles will evolve as we meet. Like we said, we are in the early forming stage of the trust. But I do want to highlight a point that trustees are not replacing the exec. Trustees are not equal to new execs, right? The execs continues as is, the show continues as is.
And I think that point of the trustee not being the execs and the execs not being the trustee is going to be a bit difficult for me and Ryan. But that's why I put my trustee cap on. So I know that I'm being a trustee right now. And we'll have to figure out how we make that work.
So another question around the board of trustees. How were you all selected and what experience do you have running a board?
For myself, when Thomas and Ryan approached me, I was humbled, excited. Equal Experts has been, as Reid said before, I joined as an associate. I've been an employee for a long time. It's a company I believe very deeply in. I guess after the initial conversation, I did reflect that I wondered whether someone kind of, not put you up to it, but kind of told you needed to or something, because I was reflecting on the kinds of questions and conversations that we've had in the last 11 years. They're normally quite probing, difficult questions I'm asking. So I guess I was kind of, yeah, the fact that you'd chosen or asked me to be a trustee meant that you kind of knew what you would be getting in that respect. So it was quite, yeah, I thought that was I don't know, you could have found an easier person to join the trust.
Yes, I could have.
I'm an employee and I am a trustee, but I'm not the employee representative. We're not representative of the different groups. The trust will always have someone who has recently or is an employee, associate, and customer, but our roles are not to represent those groups. We collectively represent the entire network.
How is decision-making actually going to change at EE?
We talked before about the trust being providing governance to the organization. And so the kinds of decisions that have been made in the past by the exec or unilaterally, like to open a new office or to invest in a new initiative with a large sum of money, those kinds of decisions the exec would still be responsible for deciding, proposing those ideas, but the trust, because of the scale of it and the potential impact to the network, those decisions would come to the trust for approval.
Would come here and we say, isn't that a great idea?
Sounds great, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, oh yeah, isn't that a great idea? Sorry.
Put your hat on and we'll have a chat about it.
Given that there is this debt that's now owed to Thomas and Ryan, and there's a certain degree of flexibility that Sam's kind of also spoken about around the repayment of this, what impact does that actually have on EE?
So first, the decision we made is to not get a bank loan to finance this, right? So Ryan and we're not a bank. And I think that's the essential thing. And that's what makes this deal actually achievable. The way this is going to work is we pay everyone salary and rates. Then we pay all our other costs. Then we pay profit share for the employees. Then we pay our taxes. There's a lot of them now. Thank you. But anyway, moving on. No politics. Then we look at whether there's investment we want to make next year that are much different from last year that we have to earmark. And then, whatever is left, will go to Ryan and I as repayment. So, and we are very happy and very clear that we'll be the last. So if it was the bank that will be first, we'll be last.
Before we finish and move on to our final event, is there any sort of closing comments that you'd like to make?
I just think it's really important to repeat what Sri said earlier. We're forming, it's a steel thread, iterative approach, and we're going to figure it out as we go along. And we'll be open and we'll communicate, but we definitely do not have all the answers. We're going to learn as we go and bring you along on the journey.